Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jacob Fry. I'm the mayor of Minneapolis, and perhaps the program that I am most proud of that the city has worked on over the years is our Stable Homes, Stable Schools program. From the very beginning, we recognized that about 8.5% of the Minneapolis public school community was either facing homelessness or on the verge of it. And we were looking for areas where the city could get involved, partnering with MPS and MPHA, partnering with groups like the Y and a number of different nonprofits. And what we recognize is that if you provide the stability of a home, you aren't just benefiting the home life, you are also providing stability in the classroom. If a kid doesn't know where they're going to sleep at night, they can't possibly thinking about learning a complex math formula or learning to read. Whereas if they have the stability, knowing that they're going to be in the same classroom for the whole year, then they go on to do incredible things. Attendance improves, grades go up, and the classroom improves as well. We know that there are kids in our MPS system that are moving not just once, but many times per year. And when they move multiple times per year, that disrupts the whole classroom and makes it a whole lot harder for teachers to teach and for students to learn. And so there's a very simple solution here, which is give kids a home. Give MPS students a home. And have that home, hopefully, within a certain radius of the school. So that in the process of providing stability and a foundation of home, you're also providing that foundation in community. And since 2019, Stable Homes, Stable Schools has successfully provided over 6,700 Minneapolis public school students with a home. That's thousands of kids whose educational journeys were protected from disruption or eviction by Stable Homes, Stable Schools. And currently, there are 260 families and over 770 kids that have a home because of Stable Homes, Stable Schools. We're not just talking about short-term support. We recognize that one of the worst things that we could do is provide a foundation and then rip it out from under these families that we provided it to. And while this year we are facing some very tough budget decisions, our values have not gone away. We've got $2.2 million ongoing in a commitment to this program. And in my 2026 budget proposal, I recommended increasing that by another $1.4 million for 2026. And here's the truth. If we don't fund Stable Homes, Stable Schools, several of the families that are currently enrolled in the program, that currently count on that assistance for the stability of home, would go without. Entire classrooms would feel the ripple effects, and our communities would by an extension as well. And so our administration is committed to redirecting these pilot funds to ensure that this program can continue. We're urging the council to stand with us to make sure that this program could have the necessary funds for the long haul. And we know that when families sign up for Stable Homes, Stable Schools, they're not just filling out paperwork. What they're doing is trusting the city of Minneapolis to do right by them. They're trusting us to stand with them. And we intend to keep that promise. So we're not here for a one-time fix. We're here to make a commitment to these families to make sure that they can not just get back on their feet, but also so that they're able to plan. They're able to look ahead and then ultimately take the next step. None of this happens without our incredible partners. And I want to really express my deep gratitude to all of them, to the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority, to Minneapolis Public Schools, to Hennepin County, the Polad Foundation, the YWCA, and all of our city staff. Thank you, your collaboration. It makes this work possible. And it also makes this work very powerful. Stable Homes, Stable Schools is a model, and I was just talking to the executive director of MPHA and Abdi Warsami, and he was telling me that Denver is now copying us. So, good mayors copy, great mayors steal. And I hope that more and more, in addition to Denver, recognize that Stable Homes, Stable Schools is a program that works, and I cannot think of a more important investment. And so with that, I'm honored to turn it over to the Executive Director and CEO of Minneapolis Public Housing Authority, Abdi Warsame.
Thank you. All right. All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you to everyone for joining us to highlight this wonderful program, Stable Homes, Stable Schools. My name is Abdi Warsame. I'm the CEO and Executive Director of the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority. Stable Homes, Stable Schools epitomizes what is possible through the power of partnerships. State, local, and philanthropic partners aligned around the common goal of ending student homelessness in the city of Minneapolis. As the mayor mentioned, when students have a stable housing, they do better in school. And that is critical because we know education is vital to ending the cycle of poverty. In this program, families are offered 2 tiers of support. One tier is emergency, short and medium-term assistance to prevent homelessness, which could include paying back owed rent, fixing a car needed to go to work, or other forms of short-term assistance to families that might need to ensure that they are housed. The second tier is a multi-year rental assistance program helping families escape or avoid homelessness and placing them into stable, long-term, affordable housing while also providing wraparound services. I think the mayor kind of mentioned some numbers, but I would like to remind everyone since 2019, this nationally recognized partnership has assisted more than 2,400 families, helping more than 6,700 children. That includes helping more than 360 students here at the Nellie Stone Johnson Elementary School. Those numbers are testament to the MPHA staff who make this program the incredible success that it is. And I have some of my staff here, and I want to thank them for their unwavering dedication to this work. And that is what makes today's discussion so important. Since expanding Stable Homes, Stable Schools in 2023, the program has operated with a funding gap. To date, the shortfall has been covered by one-time city funds previously allocated to support the program when it was a pilot. However, with the funding reserves nearly depleted, we needed a long-term solution. So earlier this summer, MPHA leaders approached Mayor Fry and his team to request a funding increase to ensure the program could continue to operate at its current capacity. And in the face of a tight city budget, Mayor Fry stepped up. Mayor Fry's proposed $1.4 million increase in annual funding for Stable Homes, Stable Schools will help ensure the program continues at its current capacity into the future. This new funding is going to help us continue the critical work of ending student homelessness in our city. I thank the mayor for his continued support for this program, and I also thank all the partners here who make Stable Homes, Stable Schools such a success. Thank you very much, and I want to hand it over to Dr. Lisa Stiles-Adams, who is the superintendent of Minneapolis Schools.
Thank you. Good afternoon. As was just shared, I'm Dr. Lisa Stiles-Adams, a very proud superintendent of Minneapolis Public Schools. But I want to begin by giving my gratitude to our partners for a commitment to Stable Homes, Stable Schools. So thank you, Mayor Fry and the Minneapolis City Council, the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority, the Polad Family Foundation, Hennepin County, and the YMCA of the North. Thank you very much. Last school year, our staff identified, and I'm going to give you a number because every number makes a difference. Our staff identified that 3,121 of our students experienced homelessness. That's about 9% of our student body. It's a staggering number that illustrates the need for Stable Homes, Stable Schools. Similar to schools across the district, Nellie Stone Johnson Elementary highlights the important work of Stable Homes, Stable Schools. Through the Housing Placement and Support Program, 19 families were able to continue their schooling here at Nellie Stone Johnson. And last year, the school used almost $74,000 in housing stabilization funds to help our families remain in secure housing. Now in its sixth year, Stable Home, Stable Schools continues to be an important resource to the families throughout our district. I would like to take a moment to thank our staff, their dedicated partners in supporting our students and our families. When students don't need to worry about where they're going to sleep at night, they can focus on other things like their schoolwork and extracurricular activities. Those are the fun parts of school. They can continue to build important relationships with their teachers and their classmates, and they can stay at the same school without changing year after year. So if you think about it, when you were a student, you probably didn't have to worry about that. Stable Home, Stable Schools has helped families avoid homelessness, find housing after having experienced homelessness, and it helps promote improved student attendance and increased school stability. All efforts that help set our students up for success. Focus on making it to the next grade level, the next school level, and guess what, eventually graduation. We are grateful for the City of Minneapolis' investment in this work as it has allowed us to reach more of our families. We are now able to provide homeless prevention support at all of our elementary schools. 266 families receive longer-term housing assistance, and we have staff assigned a lead staff to each of our sites who focus on increasing access to the program. We're also excited to announce that MPS has a full-time parent engagement specialist who will coordinate parent advisory committees with families of the Housing Placement and Support Program and the Housing Stabilization Program. These committees will provide input on program decisions, advise the mayor's office, and work to enhance the community's perception of Stable Home, Stable Schools. Stable Home, Stable Schools provides much-needed stability for our families and the greater community. We are excited to continue this partnership, and Mayor, I want to thank you for that commitment. And we look forward to supporting our students and families and enhancing the collective impact that we are making together. Now I will turn it over to David Hewitt, Director of Housing Stability with Hennepin County.
Thank you. Dr. Sales Adams, my name's David Hewitt, Director of Housing Stability for Hennepin County. It's my privilege to lead our efforts to make homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring. And today I really want to focus on the rare side of that equation, because this is where the partnership with schools really comes into its own. It's that ability to work with schools to identify families who are in crisis or perhaps on the precipice of tipping into crisis, to be able to assist them upstream before that crisis develops further. Hennepin County is the largest funder of emergency shelter for families in the state of Minnesota. We have a unique policy to expand shelter capacity so that no child sleeps outside, but we also know that it's better for families to avoid that crisis altogether and to be able to stabilize in their housing, in their school district before getting to that point. And that's why Hennepin County has been proud to be investing just about $2 million a year in Stable Home, Stable Schools the last couple of years, and recently successfully applied to the state, Minnesota Housing, for a Homework Starts with Home grant that will see this year's funding increase to almost $2.4 million a year. And what does that buy? I mean, that buys support services so that families who have had those challenges can get the help they need to stabilize, but just a little over half of it goes in direct financial assistance to the families themselves. Because we know whatever the prevailing narratives around homelessness and housing instability, this is primarily an economic issue. Families are working and are struggling with the rent, or they're unable to work, whether that's just for a short time or not, and that's enough to tip them into crisis. So we are proud to invest our funding to help those families through that crisis. It's an investment in those families now, those schools now, and for the future in our community. Mayor Fry mentioned the stealing of great ideas. Hennepin County has been proud to steal this idea and roll it out further. So we're working with 8 additional school districts through Hennepin County now with a similar model and investing an additional $3 million a year so that those students can benefit as well. And that's because we fundamentally believe in the people we serve, and we believe that it is housing that prevents and ends homelessness. So we're really proud to be here, proud to be part of this partnership, and it is my very, very real honor to hand over to our last speaker, Ms. Angelique Jackson.
Hi, my name is Angelique Jackson, and I am currently a participant of the Stable Home, Stable Schools program. And I bought my first house at 19, and I've worked since then. And in my 50s, I had a house fire. And that is ultimately what left me homeless. I had adopted a son, I'm raising grandkids, and without meeting Sharmika Ridley to tell me about this program, my kids would have been living in a car. I didn't know about being homeless. I didn't know there were programs to help you. I know what you might see on the news, and that was it. I didn't know how to call someone or contact anyone. And without the help of a social worker from my kids' school that set me up with Mary's Place, and then Sharmika Ridley got me in contact with Stable Homes, Stable Schools. I have 3 grandkids and my son, who I have no idea where we would be right now. And it's not just housing they provide. One of my grandsons is autistic, and without a stable place, he has all kinds of problems at school. He disrupts the classroom, and the ones that don't have issues disrupt the classroom. When you don't know where you're going to sleep, how you're going to eat the next day, and you're unstable, it causes a lot of problems in the school system. So I think more money needs to be put into this program. I think it needs to cover all Minneapolis public schools. I wasn't a family who was counted. I was an adult with 4 children who were not counted in any of these numbers because I wasn't perceived as homeless until after I was in the program and was being housed. And we don't just sit on the program and take money and allow them to house us. We are in training. We go to college. We have jobs. We have services for our kids. We get mental health counseling. Our kids receive mental health counseling. So we're not just people who are sitting around collecting money from any organization without making our kids stable, without giving back to the program, without being productive members of Minneapolis. And we're not all counted and we're not all seen, but we definitely are working and being educated and trying to do the best that we can to make sure our kids are stable and taken care of.
Well said.
So thank you.
Well said. Great job, Ashley. Extraordinary job, and thank you. We'll open it to any questions you might have.
Is it safe to say Ellington Johnson is one of the schools that has the most young people who are unsheltered? Is that correct? Can you say that? One of the top elementary schools where more children get services here.
I believe it is one of the top, but I don't know whether it is the top.
Is it the top, Sharmika?
One of the highest.
Thank you.
Yeah, what changes are you seeing in operations with these ongoing budget issues, and how are you trying to counter them?
And when you say what changes are we seeing with the ongoing budget issues, are you talking about what might happen due to a federal shutdown, or what might happen with the federal government, or just basic city issues, or all of the above?
All of the above.
Yeah. No, it's, so the question is, what issues are we seeing, generally speaking, with budgetary issues? The answer is a lot of them. And whether that is the attempted withholding of federal grant dollars if we do not comply with Donald Trump's very hateful policy around immigration, or that is the decreased valuation around downtown buildings that results in a 40 cents on the dollar sale, a lower valuation, and then property taxes having to be picked up by everybody else. Look, the budgetary issues are very real. And at the same time, what we are providing is a roadmap to punch through this ring of fire, to continue the critical programs that have a track record of success, and then get on to the next phase. There is a next phase coming. The next phase is going to be brilliant, and it'll be different. And whether that's how downtown shifts, and again, the focus there is in part because we substantially rely on a lot of these buildings for taxes, or it's finding new sources of money at the state level. You know, we get relatively less money from local government aid than we did back 20 years ago. And Minneapolis generates about $3 in taxes for the rest of the state for every $1 that we get back. And so we're proud to support rural communities that don't have a lot of money that they're generating. And at the same time, we got to keep this economic engine going. So that was kind of a meandering answer, but the honest answer is, yeah, we're both going to have to make some very hard decisions. And frankly, this was an easier one. And at the same time, we're going to need to be planning well for the future, which we're doing.
Is Stable Homes, Stable Schools a roadmap for other, responses to homelessness and housing insecurity? And like, think of, these,
Yes.
it's walled off to families with school children, but what about single adults, for example? Is it a realistic model to deploy?
That's the best. Yes, it is. So the question is Stable Home, Stable School a realistic model to implement elsewhere? The answer is yes, and we've already used the framework of Stable Home, Stable Schools for a variety of different programs through COVID-19 because it is a mechanism to get dollars out to the people that need it most. And to have those dollars allocated in an efficient and fair way, where we are hearing from experts and social workers embedded in Minneapolis public schools, where we are working with the Public Housing Authority, where we are working directly with the county and so many other entities. This is a platform that has worked. And so, yes, it is something that I think we can duplicate in other areas as well.
Expanding this to include the other schools, the middle schools, and high schools, with all students, like you said, Stable Home.
So the question is, would we like to expand it to other schools, including middle school and high school? The answer is absolutely. We would certainly like to. Of course, the issue is one of cost and not wanting to expand a program, provide someone with a home, and then pull the rug out from under them. We want to make sure that this program is long-standing and consistent. And I will note that a lot of the middle school and high school students are benefiting from Stable Homes, Stable Schools because there's another kid in the family that is in elementary school. But to your point, that doesn't mean that it's been rolled out in full to those schools. You have one, Kyle? Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Yeah.